Golf, a beautiful game, but not when you're hitting your irons terrible. When you fat them, you thin them, you duff them, you toe it, you shank it, whatever you do with an iron, it's not enjoyable. But you've clicked on that video because you're going to learn how to stop it. Guys, 3 things you need to do to stop doing it. Number 1, if we're talking strike, if we think about hitting the golf ball a little bit more out of the centre, and I'm not saying that you have to absolutely crush it every single time and get it perfectly out of the sweet spot, but if you think of putting a 10p piece on your club face around the middle, as long as you're somewhere on that 10p piece, you're going to be okay. When we start hitting it over here or here or here, that's when we have issues. And one of the most basic things that I see people doing to cause problems like that is a poor setup. If you don't stand to it right, you're not going to be able to hit it right. Think about your house. If your house was built on bad foundations, it's probably going to fall down. We need to build a good foundation to make sure you can actually strike it right. So a couple of things that I want you to check when you're going to address any iron shot that you're about to hit. Number 1, we've got to make sure that we're getting the right posture as we stand to it. So instead of what I see a lot of the times is where people almost get too close to the golf ball, then they tuck their hips underneath their body here and get into this position that we see from the down angle camera here, where I'm too close and leaning my body this way, but I've got the weight going on my heels. That isn't going to help me at all to hit that good shot. Vice versa, I could be too far away, feeling that I'm trying to get a bit of space here, and I end up leaning too far into it in my toes and not getting what I need for a good position there. Also, a big thing, and if you're coming close here, I want you to just see this iron as I place it down. Don't fall into this trap. When you address an iron, make sure that you're not sitting the club completely flush like this, where you've really almost pressed the toe into the ground. As you place your iron down like so, you almost want to be able just to pop a tee just under the toe of the golf club like this, just so it's not pushing it down. You can get it under, because when you actually come to hit an iron, it flexes down like this a little bit. So firstly, make sure you've got it sat right, then find a position in your stance where we are bending from our pelvis. If I'm at you at the camera, I'm bending towards you from my hips, not my knees. I bow towards you, have a tiny bit of flex, and then as I do that, I would see now that the weight is working down my legs into the balls of my feet. From there, then once I've placed that ball into the right position, so here I've got a 9 iron, it's just going to be slightly in front of centre. I'm now in a position where I can feel comfortable. I know I've got a good balanced setup, I'm not too close, too far away, and I have to try and fix that on the way down. So I've found the right spot, I've got the ball in the right position. Very fundamental stuff, but what it allows me to do as I go through there, nice little shot safely aboard the green. And you know what, beautiful little divot, and it came, could just about make it out on there, came just toe side of centre, but it wasn't a million miles away from the centre. So that is tip number 1. Make sure you've got those basics right. Don't be pressing down on the toe and getting that terrible setup. Get the right setup. Guys, before we get stuck into tip 2, I want you to become a subscriber to the channel. 65% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure that you click the button down there, turn on the bell notification. It is totally free to do, and what it does, it means that you're going to get free lessons every week. You're not going to miss one. You're going to get all the other cool videos we do and some giveaways that we're coming up as well, so don't miss out. Click it down there, free to do. Let's get stuck into that next tip. Tip number 2. Bet we all watch a bit of golf on TV, or you watch some here on YouTube. When you see decent iron shots being hit, they go up in the air, they go forwards, they look good, they sound good, and it's, you know, quite impressive. And as we think of an iron, we think about hitting it high. And this is where a lot of people come unstuck, by how they deliver the golf club. This, my 9 iron, has got 42 degrees of loft on it. It's quite a lot. It's also got grooves on the club face. My ball's got dimples on it, so the friction created between the dimples and the grooves plus the loft and add in some club head speed, that is getting the ball up in the sky for me. You don't need to do it. We almost need to do the opposite when we play golf. We need to hit down to make it go up with an iron. And what we don't want to be doing as we address the golf ball, we don't want to be seeing that as you come in, your thought process is to try and get the club to slide underneath the golf ball, creating almost that loft and feeling that you're going to flick it up into the sky. Do not flick your wrists. Don't feel that you need to help it up. Like I say, you need to hit down. The club is going to do that job for you. So a real simple little thing that I want you to do. As you take your address now, I want you to swing back and then swing halfway down. And from here, at this point, I want you to try and feel that the logo on your glove, you try and turn it towards the floor a little bit more. So turn it towards the ground, turn the glove towards the ground, and you'll notice I get the bowed wrist position here. You want a bowed wrist. You don't want a cupped wrist. So as you're swinging down, turn your lead hand, your glove hand towards the ground. That will then see that you get some shaft lean towards the target and you will get a bowed wrist through impact. We don't want to be getting shaft lean away from the target and getting a cupped wrist. So really simple, couple of swings, feeling that we get that bowed position, and then once you've had a few practice swings, go in again, try and strike your next one with that good setup and that slightly bowed wrist position. Oh, and that's an even better one that time. You can even hear that one. Beautiful. And again, a lovely little divot, ball, then turf as we've gone through. You can see it just there instead of the ground before the golf ball or getting that horrible thin. So don't try and help the golf ball up in the air. There's a loft on the club for a reason. Third tip that we need to do. We need to make sure that the force we create in the backswing, we actually use it correctly. A lot of people say to me, well, how am I going to hit my irons further? A, we need to strike it better so we get some good ball speed, but then we also need to generate the right force as we're going through. A little bit from what it carries on from tip 2, where I'm trying to help the golf ball up in the air, I would see a lot of people come through and almost push down into the back foot and spin out of the shot and finish pretty much on the same line or the same ball position that they were when they were starting. They almost look like they're leaning back away from the target here. We don't want that. What we want to try and do is get into a good weight transfer towards the target and then feel that we turn and finish. Think of your pros on TV. If you ever watch golf on TV and you watch the pros, when they hit a really good iron, you see them over their lead foot, staring their iron down as it goes through the air, and the hair over that lead side. So really simple. All I want you to do, swing up to the top, and then to start your downswing, I want you to push onto that front foot. You can just see that little push there, and notice as I do that, when I've got a line up from the golf ball, as I push, the middle of my body goes in front of the line there. So I push and then I rotate and I get over that lead side. That's going to get me the right weight transfer and use that force that I've generated in the backswing correctly in my downswing. So I go, good setup, find that balance point. I know I want the feeling of that slightly bowed wrist. I'm going to push into that front foot. And as we go through there, another strike that has helped me hit another good iron, all because I was doing 3 simple little things. So if you want to hit your irons better, guys, run through that little lesson there. Are you one of those? Are you getting a bad posture? Are you trying to help it up and do you spin out at the end? If you do, you know how to fix it. If you've enjoyed the lesson, guys, as well, do remember to hit the subscribe button down there. Like I said earlier, I want you to get better, and you're going to do that with your free lessons here on the channel with me. Thanks for watching. See you in your next one.